The UN has told RT that it's launched an investigation into the reported slaughter of Kurdish civilians by al-Qaeda-linked groups in Syria. 450 Kurds, most of them women, children and the elderly, were allegedly killed in the northeast of the country. Irina Golushka has the latest.
According to various reports, at least 450 people have been killed by the al-Nusra front in northeastern Syria. Reports say that at least 120 of those are children. Now, we have requested information from the United Nations in regard to the situation. We have received their response. According to the United Nations, their team is in the region investigating these reports, which haven't been confirmed as of yet. And should this, in fact, be confirmed to be true, then the United Nations are saying that this amounts to a war crime, and that probably should provide some sort of stimulation to the international community to act quicker when it comes to Syria and the situation which seems to be spiraling out of control. And that is exactly what Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has said when he urged the international community to come together and solve the situation in Syria.
We were shocked by the reports of around 450 Kurds massacred in the north of Syria, including children, just because their men were fighting against al-Nusra. And it's not the first such report. I hope the UN Security Council will condemn all these terrorist acts. We've seen some of its members refusing to condemn terrorist attacks in Syria, justifying it with the fact that the people behind them are fighting against the outdated regime. This stance is totally unacceptable. Terrorism should be treated without double standards.
In fact, we have spoken to a number of people whose relatives are in the region, and they have described carnage in horrifying detail. Let's have a listen.
The al-Nusra militants and other rebel forces surrounded the village. They started going from door to door, entering every house. If there were any men, they killed them and took women and children hostage. The rebels came into the house of my cousin. He was at home, so they murdered him, took the women and children, and blew the house up.
One of the reasons why people are saying that Kurds come under such harsh attacks from the al-Nusra front and groups such as the al-Nusra front is because they have been quite successful in pushing the extremists out of this region, where, unfortunately, al-Qaeda is also dreaming of establishing its own state, waiting for Syria to essentially disintegrate. And also Kurds are saying that they are not, even if they're not trying to pursue the dream of their own statehood, they at least would love to live in a country, in the state, and in a region where peace would prevail. So definitely the situation, it doesn't seem to get any better, only seems to get worse. And of course, there has been encouragement from Russia for the international community to pay closer attention and step up peaceful efforts in the region.
Well, the ongoing civil war has created deep splits within the country, raising concerns of whether Syria can ever be pieced back together. Well, the Syrian government is keeping its grip on a large area of the country's south, which is the heartland of President Assad's minority Alawite sect. Well, meanwhile, the rebels, most of them from the Sunni majority, are in control of large swathes in the northern region, stretching to the Iraqi border down to the east. Well, many al-Qaeda-affiliated groups are operating there in the ranks of the opposition. Syria's Kurdish minority scattered along the country's northern border. Most of their enclaves have become the targets of deadly attacks and mass kidnappings by the militants. And Kurds claim those fighters are attempting to carry out a program of ethnic expulsion. It comes amid reports that al-Qaeda wants to declare an independent emirate in northern Syria. Well, German journalist Karin Lückefeld says the Kurds are under attack because of the resources they control.
Actually, what is behind all this fighting is it's a struggle about control, of certain areas. We know that in the area of fighting in the north and in the east of the country, we have oil fields, and at least two of the very big oil fields are under the control of the Kurdish defense movement, and they have been threatened openly by, Western diplomats. If they don't give the control of these oil fields towards the Free Syrian Army, they will have a problem. So I think it's a fight about control, about resources of the various groups, because the Kurds are not going to deliver to their request.
The outgoing deputy director of the CIA has warned that the spread of extremism in Syria poses a threat to US national security. Michael Morell said if Assad falls, the country could become a haven for the terror group. Well, for more analysis, we're joined live now by Richard Becker, an anti-war activist from the Answer Coalition. Thanks for joining us here live on RT today. A CIA officer who spent, well, decades in the agency is concerned about extremism. Should the US change its policies now?
Well, I think that we have to look objectively at what the U.S. policy is in Syria, what it has been in Iraq, what it has been in the entire region. And it has really been a policy of destruction, of breaking up states, of breaking up countries which would not do the bidding of Washington, with the resultant widespread splits, divisions in the population, pitting one group against another. But this is not going to solve or achieve for the United States either its aim, which is domination of the complete domination of this entire region. And we should remember what happened going back not so long ago, a little over 30 years ago, when the United States intervened in Afghanistan after a revolution in that country where there was an attempt to carry out progressive reforms by the government. The U.S. intervened, contrary to popular understanding in the United States. It intervened before the Soviet Union intervened. And the outcome of that was destruction in Afghanistan and also the birth of al-Qaeda.
Okay, so, well, in fact, it's interesting what you say there, because if we come back to Syria here in particular, how can Washington sustain a war on terror and at the same time support the rebels who seem to be aligned with al-Qaeda?
Well, the reality is, of course, that the United States is supporting many groups that are, in fact, terrorist groups. And the whole effort that the United States and its allies, NATO allies, the British and the French, who formerly colonized this region, has opened the door. And while they may not directly want to support the al-Nusra Front or the other al-Qaeda-related organizations, it is their intervention that has opened the door for them. And the consequences are consequences that no one can know at this point for the future.
You say the door has been opened, and in fact al-Qaeda is saying it wants to create its own Islamist state in the north. Can it achieve that?
Well, the United States has thousands of troops now in Jordan and trainers. They have an extensive operation in Turkey. They're providing the aid, the arms, the training to the opposition forces, the Free Syrian Army and other forces in Syria. And without that aid, without that assistance, and from Qatar and Saudi Arabia and so forth coming in to support the opposition in Syria, there's no possibility that the al-Nusra Front and the other al-Qaeda affiliates could have developed the strength that they have developed.
If they have developed this strength, then what could happen if they achieve those aims?
Well, of course, I believe that the vast majority of people in Syria, which has been a secular society, have no interest in living under the reactionary, backward program that the al-Qaeda sees as the future for the people of Syria, the people of Iraq. So I think that the struggle against that domination will continue. But to restate again, what the U.S. policy has achieved is destruction.
Okay, Richard Becker from the Answer Coalition, thanks for joining us here today on RT.
Thank you.